Welcome to Practices for Sustainable Architecture. My name is Rob Fleming, and I'm the Director and Associate Professor at Philadelphia University's MS in Sustainable Design program. I'm also a Sustainability Fellow at Revision Architecture, and I have over 20 years experience in sustainable design teaching and practice. I'm offering this free course because I believe that sustainability and sustainable design is vital to our future. The planet will always be fine, but humanity's quality of life and its continued existence probably depends a lot on what we do in the next 20 to 50 years. So this course then will look at the basics of sustainable architecture to give you some tools, techniques, and strategies for successful practice. And in the areas where I can, I'll go deeper and also share upon the experience of my colleagues to help with that. So the course is broken up into 7 weeks. The first week would be Standards and Metrics for Sustainable Architecture, where we're going to start with the Living Building Challenge because of its regenerative qualities, and also with Passive House because of its widely accepted use all over the world. And then follow up with the platform or basis for a lot of sustainable design, the LEED rating systems. Then we're going to do integrated project delivery, look at green construction and factory built architecture, look at eco-cities, eco-districts, eco-villages, and then look at the future of sustainable architecture, thinking about biophilia, biomimicry, resilience, and all of these new concepts. And that'll be followed by a Green Associate Prep to get you ready for the LEED Green Associate exam. Now, we're using the Open edX platform, which at first seems very confusing and befuddling, but over time, you'll start to see that it's pretty elegant in its organization. It starts off with sections, which are like chapters in a book, and then subsections, which are topics that are going to be covered within that. Underneath that, you'll see that there are units, and each unit has specific information that will help you understand the course materials, and in many cases will contain a video that you need to watch, and oftentimes you'll see a quiz included in a unit. And then finally, we have the forum where we can have ongoing discussions about the different aspects of the course. We're really relying upon you as well to help build the course forward with your own experience. Now, I just want to start with a brief review, as brief as I can, of the last course, which was 7 weeks, which was the Principles of Sustainable Design. And this course held all the basic foundational ideas and concepts that are really supporting this course that we're starting now. In that course, we started at the beginning, and we wanted to understand the context of sustainability from really the beginning of humanity. And the way we did that is we thought about understanding sustainability through different worldview shifts, with the argument that actually right now, in the year 2015, we're heading into a new worldview, which I'm going to call the age of integration. We can also look at the history of humanity through different attitudes of development, iconic structures of architecture, energy sources, climate, and also our fundamental relationships to nature. And so if we go all the way back to the tribal era, we can see that we had an interdependent relationship with the natural world. We can only assume that because we don't have textbooks, but we can also use anthropology to try to decipher that. We moved on to the traditional era in humanity, which was really characterized by the energy source of surplus food, helped us to remain sedentary. We also saw the dawning of a new climactic period, the interglacial, known as the Holocene, which is a very warm and consistent time. And we're also seeing the first examples of separation from nature. As we move further into the future, we see that gravity, hydraulics, wind, water wheels actually allows us to create a lot more labor with fewer people. And we're also starting to classify the natural world. As we move further into the future, fossil fuels accelerate the growth of humanity and the population growth and our technology growth. And we begin to think of nature as something to be used or commodified or sold for profit. It wasn't until the age of information that we really began to think carefully about our relationship to the natural world and also seeing the emergence of new, less damaging energy sources. And now I'm arguing that in this course we're entering the age of integration, or the integral worldview, where wind and solar and renewable, perpetual solar energies are going to form the basis of new economies. But we're also seeing the potential for a brand new climactic period called the Anthropocene, which would be the first fundamentally generated climactic period by humans. At the same time, we're also going to see some very positive things about the reconnection back to the natural world. And I would argue that sustainability is less of an expression of desperation to save the species, but really as an expression of a new worldview that is seeking to reestablish a relationship with the natural world. We went on to understand the motivations behind sustainable design and how money plays a role for or for against sustainability, but also about more and more people wanting to do the right thing. And so we can begin to see a dialogue between empathy, which is doing the right thing, and self-interest, which is profit. Adam Smith's invisible hand was probably a great representation of that. But also the second invisible hand that reflects our altruistic desires or our aims to do good for the planet. And what if sustainability wasn't about the dialectic between those two and the arguing between those two, but really about the unification of those two? Well, that's just great.